In the aftermath of Oliver Tree's passing at the age of 32 following a tragic helicopter collision in Brazil, the music world and online communities have been overwhelmed by a wave of emotional reactions, tribute posts, and reflective messages that have rapidly spread across social media platforms. What began as breaking news quickly evolved into a global moment of remembrance, as fans, fellow artists, and entertainment figures revisited his work, his artistic identity, and the unconventional creative path that defined his career. Across digital platforms, tribute-style edits and emotional compilations began circulating almost immediately, featuring slowed concert footage, cinematic music overlays, and symbolic imagery drawn from Oliver Tree's most recognizable visual eras. These videos created a powerful emotional atmosphere online, as fans used them to process the sudden loss of an artist whose style had always been deeply expressive and visually distinctive. Oliver Tree's artistic identity played a major role in the intensity of the reaction. Known for blending surreal humor, emotional vulnerability, and exaggerated performance art, he built a public persona that existed somewhere between music, internet culture, and visual storytelling. His work often challenged traditional boundaries, making it difficult to separate performance from reality, which in turn amplified how audiences emotionally responded to posthumous tributes and resurfaced content. As the news spread globally, the entertainment industry also began reacting in waves, with various artists, creators, and public personalities acknowledging his influence on modern alternative music and digital culture. Among these reactions, figures from the broader internet entertainment space, including creators like Logan Paul, were widely referenced in online discussions as part of the larger wave of public tributes, reflecting how deeply Oliver Tree's presence had extended beyond traditional music audiences into internet-driven celebrity culture. Rather than formal statements alone, much of the reaction came through reposts, commentary clips, and reflective mentions of his impact on digital-era artistry. Logan Paul's name appeared in discussions primarily as part of the wider entertainment ecosystem that Oliver Tree frequently intersected with, especially in spaces where music, performance, and online media culture overlap. These conversations highlighted how Oliver Tree had become a recognizable figure, not only in music, but also in the broader internet landscape, where personalities and artists often influence each other's audiences. Fans, meanwhile, continued to engage deeply with his discography, revisiting songs that had defined different phases of his career. Tracks that once felt energetic and chaotic now carried a heavier emotional tone, as listeners reinterpreted lyrics through the lens of loss and reflection. Music videos that showcased his exaggerated character work and surreal storytelling were also widely reshared, often accompanied by emotional captions and tribute messages. As the online tribute wave grew, so did the discussion about how modern audiences experience grief in the digital age. Social media platforms became spaces of collective mourning, where users from different countries and backgrounds shared personal stories about how Oliver Tree's music had impacted their lives. Many described his work as uniquely expressive, capable of blending humor and sadness in a way that felt authentic to the complexities of modern emotional life. In addition to fan reactions, industry observers noted how quickly tribute content can shape public perception of an artist's legacy. Within hours of the news spreading, curated edits and emotional compilations began defining the dominant visual narrative of remembrance online. These edits, often set to slowed or instrumental versions of his songs, became symbolic representations of grief within digital culture. Oliver Tree's passing also sparked renewed reflection on his creative philosophy. Throughout his career, he consistently challenged expectations, often presenting himself through exaggerated visuals, comedic performances, and emotionally layered storytelling. This approach allowed him to build a unique identity that resonated strongly with younger audiences who connected with his blend of irony and sincerity. As tributes continued to circulate, fans emphasized how his music had provided emotional support during difficult moments in their lives. Many described his songs as relatable expressions of confusion, identity struggle, and emotional contradiction, wrapped in a style that felt both entertaining and deeply personal. This duality became a defining feature of his legacy, shaping how audiences now reflect on his work. At the same time, conversations emerged about the nature of viral grief and how quickly online spaces transform personal loss into global narratives. The speed at which tribute content spread highlighted the interconnected nature of modern media, where emotional storytelling can reach millions within minutes. In Oliver Tree's case, this phenomenon was intensified by his already visually dramatic artistic style, which naturally lent itself to cinematic reinterpretation. As days passed, the initial shock began to evolve into reflection. Fans started organizing playlists, memorial-style compilations, and curated collections of his most iconic performances. These digital spaces became informal memorials, where audiences could collectively engage with his artistic legacy and revisit the emotional impact of his work. Within the broader entertainment community, reflections on his influence continued to grow. Artists and creators across different genres acknowledged how his willingness to experiment with identity and performance helped expand the boundaries of modern music presentation. His ability to merge internet culture with artistic storytelling positioned him as a distinctive figure in the evolution of digital-era musicianship. Even as discussions continued online, one consistent theme remained present across all tributes: Oliver Tree's ability to create emotionally charged, visually unique, and culturally impactful work that left a lasting impression on global audiences. His influence extended beyond traditional music consumption, shaping how audiences engage with identity, performance, and emotion in the digital space. In the end, the global response to his passing reflects not only the loss of an artist, but the recognition of a creative force that helped define a generation of internet-influenced music culture. His legacy continues to live on through his work, his visual identity, and the emotional connection he built with millions of listeners around the world. And as tribute content continues to circulate, one truth remains clear: Oliver Tree's impact did not end with his final moments, but continues to evolve through every reinterpretation, every shared memory, and every emotional response his art continues to inspire.